Nakita niyo po, meron tayong ginagamit na mga paintings, obra maestra po, ng isang tinatawag nilang El Greco, Domenicos Theopulos of Toledo, Spain. And he's got his museum, Del Greco. As you see, all the, I think there are several, about 9 yata, naka-line up na yan. Siyempre, meron pang iba. So, let's go to the fourth apostle. Oops. Si Philip. Oh, si Philip. Sino po ba si Philip? Sabi, from Bethsaida. His name is found, so next, bring a friend person po yan. May 3, ang kanyang festivity, May 3. No? That's when we celebrate his memory sa May 3 po. Okay. Bring a friend. Let's see po. Ito, the twice questioned and tested by the Master, but also known as the apostle who desired to see the Father. Interestingly po, while his name is mentioned among the 12, the list in the so-called synoptic Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, only in the Gospel of John is he mentioned more often. Pinakauna po is this Philip, who after Jesus met Andrew, and Andrew brought Jesus to his brother Simon, and they became the first disciples of Jesus. So it was Andrew that brought Simon. Iba po ang perspective ni John, no? Now, ito si Jesus, while he was walking along the banks of the Sea of Galilee, he calls Philip, follow me. Tapos ito, no? This Philip, they say that he is, a name is a Greek, no? There were some Greek men from Bethsaida who wanted to see Jesus. And they come to Philip first. Kasi sabi nila, naunawaan mo kami. So please, bring us to the Master. Pero, sabi ka dito, Philip, bakit in his role as, he would bring first them to Andrew to present to Jesus. But there is something even more notable about bringing people to Jesus. Not just the Greeks, but his own friend, Nathanael. No, he's mentioned as Nathanael in this Gospel of John. Somehow they say we call him Bartholomew, no? So, he is now so-called there. So, Philip brings a friend. Not just those who seek to see Jesus, the Greeks, but earlier on, Nathanael. Then, ano po in twice questioned and tested by the Master? If you look again in the Gospel of John, you have 2 moments mentioned si Philip. Sabi niya, Jesus was the one, ito po ang Gospel next Sunday. It was the apostles who asked Jesus to send the crowds away because they might die of famine. They might even get sick. But in the Gospel of John, sabi niya, where can we buy bread for this crowd of 5,000? And he asked this from Philip. And Philip says, oh, how could we feed so many? And Jesus was just testing him. Tingnan niyo po, the Gospel of John, chapter 6, verses 5 to 7. Another time is when Philip asked Jesus to show them, 12, God. And sabi ni Jesus, ano? Have you been with me all this time? You still do not know me? Twice questioned and tested by the Father. Did he, was he able to pass the exam? Parang hindi ata. So that's John chapter 14, verse 9. So maganda po, if you want to know more about Philip, go to the 4th Gospel. Okay. The apostle who desired to see the Father. Okay, next po. There is a saint by the name of Clement of Alexandria. From where? Alexandria, 2nd and 3rd century. So in between the year 300 towards the 400. No, he is the one who mentions Philip. No? Sabi niya, this Philip is mentioned another time in a gospel, in Luke as well as in Matthew, parallel. He thinks he is the man who is the unnamed person who asks to bury his father before he follows Jesus. So iba to ang tingin dito is the call of Jesus was to a man unnamed, let the dead bury their dead. Because Clement in his writing, in his book, Stromata, if they quote the Lord's words to Philip, let the dead bury their dead, but do thou follow me. So parang implied si Philip in that story of let the dead bury their dead. Yes. So finally po, how did Philip die? Yan. So Philip, the apostle, died in the 1st century. That is before the end of, before the year 100. Sabi dito, around the year 80. Sabi natin si Peter died around the year 64 in the persecution of Nero when he burnt Rome and sinisi niya po ang mga Christians. And Peter was one of those hanged on a tree. Now, there are many traditions how he died. No? Meron kasing confusion kasi meron ding another Philip sa Acts of the Apostles, but he is the deacon. Siya yung nag-evangelize sa eunuch of Candace. Now, they said he died of natural causes. Pero hindi po yan ang mas known tradition It's only one who died of a natural cause. But they suggested that he was a martyr, stoned to death, beheaded, or even crucified upside down. Now, there is in the Acts of Philip, syempre, hindi naman siya pwede magsulat niyan kasi tungkol sa kanyang kamatayan. Paano siya nagsusulat habang naka-crucify? Kita niyo po ba? No? Naka-X yung isa, yun daw si Philip. Yung dalawang paa, magkahiwalay, yung dalawang kamay, magkahiwalay, and upside down, like, now, ang katabi niya, yung kanyang kaibigan, si Nathaniel, si Bartholomew. And during this moment, while hanging, they wanted to release them, no? Kasi they would ask them to renege their faith. Pero sabi dito, Philip kept on preaching and even told them, yung kaibigan ko na lang, si Nathaniel, ang inyong i-release. Yon. So, bakit ko po nilalagyan dito ng mga paintings po? Kung titingnan niyo po, ano daw ang dala ng isang apostol sa pictures, sa paintings, or even sa sculpture, most probably, yun ang kanyang uri ng kamatayan. Kita nyo, sa kanan, yan po si Philip, may dala siyang krus. Yan. Sa paintings, kita nyo, may dala siyang krus. Hindi po yan troso. Tingnan nyo po, merong transversal doon. So he was either crucified, di ba? Pero dito, upside down, iba-iba po ang tradition. Pero ano ang ating proof? Sa May 3 po, pag nagmimisa tayo on the feast of St. Philip and James, magkasama yung dalawang yan Philip and James, nakapula po tayo. Sign of martyrdom. So, kung ito po ang history, magandang parang tingnan how the church used that history in its tradition of prayers, of liturgy. And the liturgy suggests or tells us on the feast of St. Philip on May 3, you have to wear red. the sign of martyrdom. So yun. So he did not die of natural causes according to the so-called lex orandi, the law of prayer, the way of prayer. There is the lex credendi, the way we believe, our faith beliefs, lex vivendi, the way we live, behavior, or the lex orandi, the way we pray, we worship. Salamat po. That's Philip. So, kung gusto niyo pong gamitin ang pangalang Philip, pag meron kayong anak, I hope you can now tell him the meaning of the word. God bless.